In 2002, Capcom will provide a prequel to the entirety of the RE series called Resident Evil Zero. It was originally intended to release on the Nintendo 64, but was scrapped in favor of the higher graphical quality of the Nintendo GameCube, and was meant to be more difficult than previous RE games by introducing a partner character to tag along with the removal of item boxes. And if this all sounds like a bad idea to you, you're correct, because this game sucks. Sure, it may have better visuals than Remake 1, with lots of environment details and a moody vibe and atmosphere, but this game is a pain to go through. Which is a real shame because this is the last of the classic RE fixed camera games. So today, I'm here to help you figure out what this game is and how it plays. Hey, my name is Jude, and if you've never dealt with zombies and monsters before, then I'm here to tell you what is Resident Evil Zero. So let's get that story out of the way, shall we? The game takes place before the events of the first Resident Evil, where we follow STAR's Bravo team as they investigate the bizarre murders within the Arklay Mountains. Except no they don't, because they find a crashed truck in the middle of nowhere and hunt down an escaped convict called Billy Cohen, a former soldier wanted for the murder of 23 people. Oh yeah, Billy totally killed 23 people, sure game. And so the Bravo team splits up in the forest like idiots, and we follow Rebecca when she comes across an abandoned train that's just kind of here now, along with Billy Cohen, and zombies and monsters, and a man wearing Wilma's clothes from the Flintstones, whose evil plan is to sing opera to command leeches to get revenge on the pharmaceutical. What is going on? Yeah, so if you couldn't tell already, RE0 has one of the weirdest and dumbest plots in the whole series. The game has the potential to have us learn more about the Bravo team from RE1, but we learn next to nothing about any of them in this game. In fact, they barely mention the murders happening in the Arklay Mountains. You know, the whole reason Bravo team is out here in the first place. And the only Bravo bros we get names for are Rebecca, Enrico, and Edward, who was so happy just a few hours ago. What a shame he's dead now. The only connection we have from this game to the first is how the T-Virus ended up in the Spencer Mansion. Rebecca is the only Bravo member we follow, and taking this game into account, she's fought her way through zombies, leeches, and proto-tyrants a whole day before the first game. Our other player character named Billy is just meant to look cool and, well, that's about it actually. He has a backstory, maybe a bit of PTSD, I don't know, the game doesn't seem to elaborate on this at all. Honestly, RE0 is more interested on expanding the lore of future games, like how they go into detail on one of the founding members of Umbrella, that being Dr. Marcus, who has quite the obsession with leeches, let me tell you, as well as having nods and references to games like RE1, 2, Gun Survivor, okay. Well, regardless, if you're looking for a game that fleshes out the members of the Bravo team, look somewhere else. It's mainly a Billy Cohen game anyways, featuring Rebecca from the Devil May Cry series. Zero is the last of the classic fixed camera angled styles of Resident Evil, where you'll be playing as both Rebecca and Billy. Both characters have a few differences that only they can do, just like in RE1. Rebecca can mix herbs because Billy can't do math for some reason. She has a mixing kit that will become very important later on in the game, which we'll get to that when we get to that. And she has a low amount of health. You're probably going to want to have Billy do most of the fighting. He can push objects, has a lot more health, and has a lighter, which for some reason is not lit. So because Billy can't mix herbs, you're gonna want to give them all to Rebecca so she can mix them for you. Or just use a Fate Spray. The game's default controls are a pain to get the hang of, especially if you played Remake before this one, since the run button is mapped to A instead of the X button. But you can remap the controls to make it feel more like RE1 if you want, like I did. Because you have two characters in this one, you have extra buttons to make them run or follow you. And in the menu, you can set them to attack enemies alongside you, as well as being able to swap to them in the menu via the change option. So while you may have extra firepower, your partner can be a liability at times. Because if they're attacked while you try to escape to the other room, they will not follow you and yell on the radio for help. Which is where I segue into RE0's other most important game mechanic, that being item management. Unlike other Resident Evils, Zero does not have item boxes. So you're going to have to discard items via the leave option in the menu, and the exchange option to swap items between the two of you. So at first you may be thinking, oh snap, I don't have to deal with those annoying item boxes. That's good, right? Wrong. Because there's no item boxes, you'll be spending most of the game in the menu transferring items, dropping items, examining things, you get the idea. Which is especially awful when you have to move all the weapons and ammo to the next major area of the game. So if you're someone who really hates backtracking in games, you're probably not gonna like this one. And before you'll ask, no, there is no way to upgrade inventory in this game. And there's a limit to how many items you can store in a single room, but you can check what items have been left in the room via the map menu. But it's especially frustrating when you have items that take up to 2 slots, the worst one being the infamous hook shot. This stupid thing is found near the end of the train sequence, and you have to use this thing not once, not twice, but 4 times. And it's easy to forget about this item because you go through several parts of this game without ever having to use it again, only to then be forced to reuse it for the umpteenth time, and now you have to run all the way back to wherever you last dropped it so you can progress in the game. Wow, that's such great game design.
Grappling hook!
Mabel, no offense, but that grappling hook has literally never helped us once.
The next thing I'll talk about are the weapons, which shouldn't take too long. Both characters start with 2 handguns, and out of the 2 pistols you get, Billy's is better in the long run. Even though handgun ammo is abundant in this game, Billy's handgun does slightly more damage and has a better headshot ratio. On top of that, when you go into the basement, you can find the suitcase, enter the code 385, and find the handgun parts to upgrade your handgun even further, which offers greater accuracy and a stronger rate of fire. And the knife is only bold and brash against the first boss. After that, it belongs in the trash. The grenade launcher takes up to 2 slots in this game, along with having normal, acid, and flame rounds. However, since ammo is scarce for this weapon, it's best to save it for emergencies, like eliminators. You've also got the signature Magnum near the end of the game on the rail car, which is only good against the last few bosses, especially since, like the grenade launcher, Magnum ammo is very scarce in this game. But one weapon that is abundant in this game are the Molotov cocktails, which is created by combining gas tanks and empty bottles. These weapons, while very common, are best saved for encounters against the leech bin, since fire indeed hot and the animation takes forever to throw out. There are 2 shotguns in the game. The first one can be acquired in the train, that being the hunting rifle, which, while having better firepower and a higher headshot ratio, can only hold up to 2 shells. So it might be a good idea to pass this one off for the pump action shotgun found early on in the storeroom, since this weapon has up to 7 rounds and has a wider spread. That being said, both the rifle and pump action take up to 2 slots in the game, which is very stupid and is just there to waste inventory slots. Anyways, insert reuse meme of Rebecca shotgunning zombie in the head here.
I've got a shotgun.
And now we come to the various sections of the game. Despite having 2 playable characters, the game loves to split them up to complete various tasks, which usually involves one character staying behind while another runs off to do manual labor. Some of these are rather simple, like having one character hold the button down while the other grabs the hook shot, or having Billy crank that soldier boy so Rebecca can grab the key and then get thrown into another boss fight. But one of the more annoying puzzles has you lift Rebecca up through this hole so she can get the power working, only for her then to fall and hang on for dear life, and now you have to race to Rebecca, wherever the heck she ended up, and save her from eliminators. Good freaking luck. The game is broken up into 6 sections: the train sequence, the training facility, the basements, the labs, the factory, and the treatment plant. The train sequence, in my opinion, is the best part of the game. It's short, simple, and only 2 ways, so it's impossible to get lost in this thing. And this is where the game introduces splitting up the characters, like how you can have one character go up on top of the train to restore the power, only for them to fall and get trapped in a locked room, while the other character has to run around and find the ice pick to rescue them. But things quickly escalate when you're forced to split them up again and have one person run all the way back to the back of the express for math, while the other does more math to hit the brakes. Or, you know, Billy could just break the brakes, a la Patrick Star.
I think our troubles are over.
Ah! You broke the brake?
In that case...
Anywho, the real game begins when you enter the training facility, which is where the game quickly falls apart, because you have to do some busy work to get from point A to point B, like grabbing the crank handle to push Rebecca up the clock tower, grabbing the devil and angel wings, and one of them is behind a comically large chess puzzle. Who in the world thought a room-sized chess puzzle for their office space is anyone's guess? And eventually make your way down to the basement, which has you saving Rebecca and has a battle sequence against hunters. Yay! And the next major goal is where you need to get the 3 tablets to open the way to the laboratory. One tablet is located in the room to the right of the animal puzzle. Another one needs the vice handle to snatch, and the last one is on top of the pillar outside the main hall, which you'll need the battery to lower the lift and push the block to reach it. And the labs are where they force you to bring back the hook shot for the 100th time and transfer items again to open up these leech colored doors. However, if you want an easier time with this part of the game, send Rebecca up with the hook shot, because you'll have to mix chemicals via these canisters to open up the capsule and get the key. And even though one canister is on the bottom floor, the second one you'll need is only on the top floor. And unfortunately, you can't send the hook shot down to the elevator to get back to Rebecca, which makes no sense. There's clearly plenty of room in there. And you'll have to send Rebecca all the way back to the first area to find the green canister. Not only does this take forever to do, but now you have to deal with eliminators. Thanks, game. I hate you too. And then Billy goes away for a bit, neat, and you make your way to the factory, which is fairly straightforward. You grab the key to use the tram elevator to fight the boss, etc. Also, don't worry about transferring all your items here, because you'll get a magical elevator later on that lets you warp back and get all the items you brought with you. Yes, you heard me right, a magical elevator, because this thing worked back to the training facility, the first and fourth levels of the factory, and to the final area, the treatment plant, where you reunite with Billy, have a block puzzle to get a crank, stuff Rebecca in a fun box, which is small and swear dark by the way, and then power up the forklift to grab the key to lower the water to reach the final boss. And thus we come to the enemies and bosses in the game, which are a pain to deal with and make you question your sanity. There's the standard Resi enemies like zombies, dogs, crows, and hunters, but then you come across the plague crawlers, which can be a nuisance if not dispatched ASAP, since they can pounce on you and swipe at your legs if you're not careful. Also, the giant grasshoppers, that's disgusting. And one of the most frightening foes in the game has to be the Leechmen, in which a horrifying piece of music plays while they're around, and they will run at you with annoying swipes and command grabs. On top of that, they're extremely durable to regular bullets, so using the previously mentioned Molotovs will work wonders on them. That being said, the worst enemy in the game goes to the Eliminators. These Planet of the Apes rejects are the bane of every player's existence. They're short, their hitboxes are small, have a lot of health, and they will kill you very quickly in this game. Needless to say, I'm glad these monkeys never came back in the series, because oh my gosh, these things suck. Oh, and there's a giant frog at the end of the game, which tongue grabs you and eats you whole if you get caught. Ew. Anyways, we have the bosses, of which there are 6 in the game. Most bosses will have you stick with one character, while the last 2 let you bring in both teammates. The first boss is a giant scorpion on top of a runaway train, okay, which is hilariously easy, since every time you hit him, he flinches and can be stun locked to death. Heck, you can even do this with a knife if you wanted to. It's that pathetic. And in the training facility, there's a giant centipede boss, which has you whittle away at its health while it steals your girl. Nah, you can have her, I don't want her. And then there's a giant bat inside the cathedral, one of the worst bosses in any RE game. This fight gives you plenty of ammo to take this thing down, which you'll need because now you have an airborne enemy in a fixed camera angle game where precise shots are important to kill them all of a sudden. The next 2 fights are against the Proto-Tyrant, arguably the best boss in the whole game, since you get to waste him with the Magnum and dodge his telegraph swipes, and he looks really cool, not gonna lie. The second phase is when you're able to bring both characters into one boss fight. That being said, it's best to stick with only one for the second encounter, since having 2 of them wastes more ammo, the Tyrant doesn't have that much health, and Billy can tank hits much better and whatnot. And then there's the final boss against the Leech Queen, another double fight in which the first phase has you bring down London Bridge with lots and lots of guns. And before the second round, the game gives you a brief rest area with plenty of herbs and ammo, along with another type bird to save your progress. The final encounter has you gun down the Leech Queen until you trigger the cutscene, where you then have to distract the Queen with Billy to keep her off Rebecca while she opens the shutters and pulls another Magnum out to finish the game. Am I done yet? Cool. Moving on. Okay, so let's go over some tips and fun facts about the game, shall we? After beating the game, you'll unlock the Leech Hunter mode, which has you go through the main game as Rebecca and Billy again and grab leech items, along with the Wesker mode, which lets you play through the whole game where Billy is replaced with Wesker, who is absolutely busted with his charge attack and cartoonishly fast running speed. There are 5 ranks you can earn for beating the game: D, C, B, A, and S. And finishing the game with either an A or S rank gives you the submachine gun and rocket launcher. As previously mentioned, RE0 started out as an N64 game, and there's still several gameplay previews of this version on the internet if you're curious. When playing through the early train sequence, if you examine Edward's body, you can get handgun ammo, and if you chose to have Rebecca go to the back of the train, she'll get a unique cutscene where she sees her teammates turn into a zombie. After using Alter tablets to open up the next area, the way back to the facility will change, which means that after leaving the observatory, you'll exit out of the second floor, which is now occupied by Eliminators. Now, I hate to reiterate this, but whatever you do, do not leave the hook shot behind, since it's required at certain parts of the game going forward. But once you're done with the tram sequence, you never have to use this thing again, so leave it behind after that. The game features several alternate costumes that can be swapped to anytime. Some of them are from the original port, like the leather and jacket costumes, but there are a good amount of DLC costumes like the Cody outfit from Street Fighter, Wolf Force, whatever that is, and my personal favorite, the Stars prototype, a reference to Rebecca's outfit from the N64 build. There's a couple of what I like to call trap rooms, where there are no items in them and they're just there to waste your resources and get you killed. One of which is at the end of the hallway after solving the animal puzzle. And whatever you do, do not go in the bathroom. Sure, there may be a gas tank and an urban there, which contradicts what I just said, I know, but once you pick these up, you're greeted by, of all things, a leech man blocking the way out. Good lord.
I'm about to bust. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. Oh, good lord.
So hopefully this video has given you a good idea on what this game is and how it plays. If you wish to purchase this game, it is now available on all modern platforms thanks to the 2016 remaster, which upscaled the game very well, better than Remake 1 unfortunately, and features an alternate control scheme that ignores the tank controls. And it goes on sale often, and the base price is still $20, which is pretty affordable honestly. Resident Evil 0, while maybe the best looking of the classic horror games, is one of the most frustrating experiences you will ever find with this partner system and inventory management. And the story is very insignificant in the grand scheme of things, since all the new characters are basically forgotten going forward. Just play RE1 Remake if you want a better game. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a blessed day. Take care.